And what they're looking for, we talked about this in the first section, what they're looking for in your education section is not history. Remember, we're not writing a historical document here. We're not writing an autobiography. We're writing your argument for employment. And so what they care about is not every school you've ever attended, but what educational criteria or qualifications or credentials do you have that makes you somebody who we should be considering for this job. And so the rule of thumb, and you'll find there are no absolutes in this. This is a creative document. It is as much art as it is science. And so you have to sort of experiment. But the rule of thumb is post-secondary degree-granting institutions. That's why you wouldn't put high school, because high school is not post-secondary. It's secondary school. If you came to UAB from Jeff State, for instance, or some other school, you transferred here to here from there, those schools wouldn't be included either because they're not degree-granting. They're just someplace that you went. If you're showing me a history of everywhere you've been, that needs to be a red flag. No. I don't want to show history. I just want to show educational qualifications. And for most of this, that's going to be degree-granting post-secondary institutions. And so you want to start off writing that part of your education, degree-granting post-secondary institutions. And you want to present the evidence in there in, once again, decreasing order of importance or a decreasing application to the thesis. Many people, when they write resumes and they're writing the education section, the first thing they're going to put, the first line of their resume, of that education section, is going to be where they went to school, University of Alabama at Birmingham. That may not be, and probably is not, the most important piece of evidence to the employer. It is to you, maybe. I mean, a lot of us spend a lot of time agonizing over where we're going to go to school when we're in high school. Where am I going to go to college? And they analyze all these colleges and they visit and they finally pick where they're going to go. And so that may be a very important aspect of the job search to you, but it may not be so important to the employer. What is the most important fact about your education the employer needs to know? Number one is going to be, what level of degree do you have? Bachelor's degree, master's degree, PhD? What level of degree do you have? Number two, what is it in? What is the degree title? So you've got Bachelor of Science, Bachelor of Arts, in whatever your major is. Those are the two pieces of information the employer needs to know. So that typically, for a good resume, is going to be the first line. Bachelor of Science in whatever your major is. So those are the first two pieces of information. Number three would be where you went to school, because that is somewhat important, so you do have to put it on there, but it's not the first thing on the line, first thing the employer sees. Bachelor of Science in this at the University of Alabama at Birmingham. And the fourth piece of information that an employer needs to know is when you graduated, or when do you expect to graduate. Not all the dates of attendance, which is what most people put in their resume. Well, I don't need to know that it took you 7 years to get out of school. Okay? As a matter of fact, that might put you in a bad light. It may not be the most beneficial thing you could put on your resume, is how long it took you to get through school. At the very least, it doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure out how old you are if you put all the dates of attendance on your resume. It's not about how long it took you to get through school. So all the dates of attendance is not relevant. What is relevant is the date of graduation. When did you or do you expect to graduate? That's what you want to put on your resume. And notice, because it's fourth, it is, in the list of things that I want you to put, it is the least relevant piece of information on there. Another mistake that a lot of people make when they write their own resume is they start off each entry with the dates. Here are the dates when I went to school, here are the dates I did all my jobs, here's the dates. As a matter of fact, some people's resumes start off with the dates and then indent everything in. So you basically have a column of dates running down the side of the resume, the side of the page. And so much so that these column of dates are all set and given so much emphasis that that's the first thing the employer sees, and it's the only thing they remember, and that's the least important piece of information we want them to remember. Let's don't put focus on dates. Putting focus on dates turns your resume into a chronological format, which 99% of the cases for entry-level candidates is not the right format for an entry-level resume. What you want to put is not the dates of of everything. That's secondary. That's almost an afterthought. So we're going to take those dates. We're not going to left justify them. We're going to right justify them. We're going to put them on the right-hand side. We're going to, sort of bury them in the text. We're going to put the focus on the relevant pieces of information: type of degree, level of degree, what the degree is in, where you went to school. Other aspects of your career, of your education, can also be included if they have relevancy to what you want to do. Grade point average, clubs that you're involved with, leadership, scholarship, academics, all those things would be bullet points under your education if they have relevance towards what you want to do. Now, it doesn't have to be expertise relevance. You might be showing leadership, you might be showing scholarship and academic ability, those work characteristics, and that would still be part of the resume. If they have nothing to do at all with what you want to do, then don't include them. Then they become history. They become fluff, things about you. But if they have relevancy, you include them as bullet points under that. And that includes club memberships, intramural kinds of things, or extracurricular kinds of things. Anything that you might have done that's associated with your stay here at UAB would be included, or could be included, as a bullet point under that. Grade point average, I get that question a lot: should I include my grade point average? And the simple answer to that question is, does it prove your thesis? In other words, is it a good grade point average? If it's something that you'd be proud of, it's something that helps prove your skills, if it's something that helps sell you as a product, then yeah, it needs to be included. If you're not too proud of it, if it's not something that really sells you, if it's not something that you want your grandmother to know about, then don't include it. It's that simple. Just don't put it on there. Now, they might ask you for it on a job application. They might ask you about it in a job interview. Those are different animals. But for the resume, if it sells the product, include it. If it doesn't sell the product, leave it off. And that's the simple answer to that question. So talk about your educational credentials first and put it in order of application back to the thesis. The two sections are in order of application, but within each section, the information you present is also in decreasing order of application back to the thesis. And that is the guiding light, or the guiding rule that you want to do when you put any information in your resume.